Okay, guys, we took a little break and we're kind of back on now. And you know, what we were talking about was, you know, being able to change things to different speakers. If you want to put it on a byline, if you want to put it on a question answer, you can put your cursor right here. F3 is for question, F4 is for answer. You know, so, you know, there's a lot of different things that you can do. Any questions on any of that?
Do with one step what might take multiple steps on another program.
See, and that's what it's doing right there. Let me back it up just a little bit because it kind of showed it real quick.
Understands paragraphing.
See, and it'll kind of give you, well, you know what? Do you want it as an answer? You could put it right there, press number 7, and it'll do the same thing. So it's real quick. You don't have to take your hands completely. I mean, you do a little bit, but I mean, if you know where 4 is, you know, but for some of you guys that have the computers, and I had it too, and I had to get Nestor to turn it off, but some of you guys have a function key, and mine did. And there's a way of turning off that function, and I'm not exactly sure how, but there's a way of doing it, and you might be able to Google it. Turning off the function key. I think we tried that the first week. And, but I mean, just go through and Google, you know, how to turn off function key, you know, whatever, and see, you know, what it tells you. You know, and you can kind of do it on your own time. But it'll ask you what you want to do. You know, do you want to add, you know, a paragraph type, join the paragraph? So, you know, and what join the paragraph means is if, you know, you have an answer here, you hit an answer and it's like, oh, that was still part of the question. You put your cursor right here, join the paragraph as F8 or Control J. Control J also joins a paragraph too.
And would that be the same thing if I'm editing and I put Control P to create a paragraph and
Yeah.
then change my mind?
Yeah.
So I would do Control J.
Joins the paragraph.
Or F8.
Or F8. You know, I should be writing these down because they're really good little shortcuts, you know, to these things. So, you know, and to me, guys, I mean, the way that you learn the best is by writing them down. And, you know, like, you know, we've covered a lot of stuff tonight. I want you guys to use this stuff this week, okay? You go home and you practice tonight. Well, you know what? I'm going to try putting, you know, question and answers in there. I know that it was a literary test that I took, but I'm just going to kind of mess around with it and use. And the more you use it, the more you're going to get familiarized with the functions, okay? I know that makes sense. It has to. The more you mess with it, the more you're going to understand what it does, okay? So just start messing with this stuff. And, you know, it's on practice stuff, so it really doesn't matter if you mess it up, you know? And if you mess it up and say, you know what, I hit Control P or Shift P and it made a new paragraph and I didn't know how to put the paragraph back together. We'll talk about it next week. Remember it was Control J or F8. Oh, yeah. Okay. So mess with it, you know, to where you get familiarized with it. And mess with the buttons. I mean, on something that you don't really care, you know, it's practice stuff, just mess with it.
So
All right?
Z also works if I want to undo a paragraph.
Yeah, if you did something and you want to go back in hyperkeys, and we're getting ready to get into that in just a bit, we're going to go into hyperkeys, and it'll show you what the oops key is. And that just means, I didn't mean to do that. And maybe you wiped out a whole paragraph, or maybe you went to the bottom of the document. You were on page 6 of page 258. Oh shoot, I don't even remember what page I was on. But it took me to the bottom of the document. Well, if you haven't messed with it a whole lot, you know, moving around, you push Z and it'll take you right back. Once you start messing with it a little bit, then it thinks that, you know, you meant to stay there and that's what you meant to do and whatever. But if you did it and it's like, oh, I don't know what I did, Z, and Z will take you back. Okay? And we'll kind of mess with that in a little bit.
So the last place you were at.
Yeah. Or the last function that you did. Yeah.
Again, just press a number to do with one step what might take multiple steps on another program. AutoMagic also watches out for word reversals.
And that's what I was telling you just a little bit ago too on the word reversals.
AutoMagic
You know, see they have it, she is. That Shift R toggles the words, okay? So it just shifts the words. That's a good one to know too. You know, especially if, because I do my it is and it is it so quick that a lot of times it puts it as sit. So now it kind of gives me, you know, 1, 2, 3. It is it, sit. Or if I know it's already on there, I can just do, you know, the Shift R and it just real quick does it. Instead of having to take my finger off or my hands off the thing and hitting, you know, number 1 because number 1 was it is. Okay? Does that make sense?
Also watches out for word reversals, or incorrectly applied suffixes, or missing punctuation, and compound word problems.
So it'll kind of give you different options of she was outstanding in the field. Well, that's not right, right? How many of you agree that that's not right? That's not right. She was outstanding in the field. Well, field didn't write either. And they're fixing to show you that too because of the way that he stroked it. Field. He did it as, you know, field, as in feeling something or whatever. But all it does is it does what you tell it to do. That's how you stroked it. You know, field. Is it even a word? He filled. He felt. No, it's not a word. So it's just, but it's underlined in red, so it's telling you that it's wrong anyway. That it's not a word. It's incorrect.
A question about, like the word outstanding there.
Yeah.
Did the software know, or was that just from you reading it?
That's the whole thing about learning your writing also. Conflict-free writing. Conflict-free writing. So what they teach you and what we're teaching some of the reporters now in that captioning class is how to write differently. And some of us have been out, I've been out 23 years, guys. And I write some of the same stuff, but I have it in my dictionary as certain things. Like say I wrote outstanding. Well, if I know that it's a prefix, I need to write out differently. Maybe with an asterisk. And you define it as a prefix so that it attaches on to the next word. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So when you just write out standing, then it's going to put it like this because you were just out standing. But if you write it with O-U-T with an asterisk, then it knows that it's a prefix. It's going to put it onto the next word, and it knows that that's how it's defined, because that's how you stroke your prefix. Does everyone know what I mean by prefix too? Yeah? So it's like pre, re, you know, stuff like that.
So that's what you mean though when you're talking about a conflict that would happen. It's if you're doing where it's syllabic,
Yeah.
right? And then it confuses things.
Yeah. And sometimes, I mean, you're just going so fast that you're just typing what you hear, which is what you should do. But you get to the point where, you know, your brain, we were taught in school that your brain works, the average human mind works at like 900 words a minute. 900. So that's 3 times faster than you can ever hope to stroke something. I mean, I don't even know if Mark's at 300.
Yeah, he's at 300 something.
Yeah.
360.
60? 360? So, I mean, you can just imagine how fast his mind thinks, you know, if he's stroking at 360. But I mean, I know that he uses a lot of briefs and stuff like that, so, but.
So if you clicked on any word out there, like the word working, would it give you choices on the left?
Yeah. As you move your cursor, it's going to give you different options
So
for
for
every
every
word.
word.
Every word. Is yours on? Is yours doing that?
Yeah, it is. Like for wait, it just means wait.
Okay, everyone come back here. Okay, I'm gonna turn off the We're gonna take a break for just a second.